anyone who is even remotely interested in indie games must have for sure heard about the Ori franchise. The two games in the series that begins with The Blind Forest and ends with The Will of the Wisp has qualities that can never escape the limelight. From absolute gorgeous hand-drawn visuals to immensely satisfying gameplay mechanics flavored with a beautiful heart-touching story, it's hard to believe that it can fail to encompass anyone's attention. The game tells the tale of a spirit named Ori, from how it gets adopted by a kind soul to how it saves the world and its loved ones without giving a second thought about the sacrifice. It's a story about love and sacrifices made by loved ones for each other, and how lack of such affection can lead to a life of comforting misery. Gameplay-wise, the first game was more or less completely focused on platforming with a little bit of combat just to spice things up a little, bring in a tad bit of variation. And the second game went full throttle to get the combat right while keeping the complex, rage-inducing but exquisite platforming, making it one of the best games ever created in the indie genre or gaming as a whole. By the way, that rage-inducing part, it only happened to me in the first game as I was very poor at platforming at that time. By the time I played the second game, I was trained enough well, which is another thing to like about these games, that is the learning curve. As a player, I found myself constantly getting better at engaging with the various mechanics of these games, which is always very satisfying. In terms of drawbacks, I found Blind Forest's lack of combat to be bothersome. The combat system was effective, but it felt half-hearted and filler-type content, which is something of a no-no for a combat fanatic like me. And coming to The Will of the Wisp, the combat system was very well designed, but the world-like enemy variety and number of actual combat-based bosses were less. But taking into account of the length of the game, it definitely is fine, but I would have loved to see some optional encounters to test my skills. Also, there were shards which are kind of buff medallions that were far superior to the rest, which again can be found easily in comparison to the rest. The effect of this can be seen in a little drop in variety of builds and also a dip in interest in exploration. As if I already got the better shards, then why should I waste my time trying to get things that won't feel rewarding? For final words, I'll just say that this is another masterpiece of a game which unfortunately I don't get to hear too much about in the world dominated by AAAs. In several aspects, this game actually does feel a lot more fleshed out and very well polished in comparison to many AAA titles that came out recently. And of course, the visual aspect of it is just way too mesmerizing. The clarity of the devs in their goals while developing this game can be seen clear as day, which I strongly believe should be acknowledged, and what better way can there be to do so other than getting the game and play it yourself. Personally, I give this game an 8 out of 10, and I'm pretty sure anyone else trying this out will rate the same, if not higher. This is it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please do hit the like button and consider subscribing after checking out the rest of the content on the channel. Thank you for your time. This is the Rando Rookie from the Indian Gaming Podcast, signing off.